So I also read recently quite interesting facts that I thought I'd probably share with you about the reaction of the Soviet authorities to Orwell. Because as late as in 1937, the chief editor of the magazine Internationalная литература, International Literature, wrote a letter inviting Orwell to send the book, The Road to Wigan Pier, for the magazine to translate. Obviously, the magazine, the Internationalная Literatura, was a sort of a, shop window, as very often happened in the Soviet Union, happens in today's Russia. The places where there's a little bit more freedom than in other places. But when this man, whose name was Dinamov, wrote to Orwell, Orwell responded to him and sent him the book. But being Orwell and being a very, very honest man, of course, he said, I think you should know that I fought in Spain, not in the International Brigade, as lots of other writers did, but under the banners of POM. POM was a United Workers' Marxist Party. And of course, this, for the Soviet authorities, this was worse than the red rag for the bull, because this party was labeled Trotskyist, and all the terrible misfortunes that happened to Orwell's friends and to himself in Spain were happening precisely because of this label. So immediately the talk of publishing The Road to Wigan Pier stopped, and the man Dinamov was arrested in 1938 and shot in 1939. We don't know whether it was directly related to his letter to Orwell. I think it was just the decision of the authorities. And the second thing that I learned from this recent research into the history of censorship in Russia was absolutely something that I didn't myself at all suspect. In 1959, there was a limited edition of 1984 published, only specifically for, as Orwell would have said, members of the inner party. Only for the party nomenclatura. There was a list with the names of people to who the books was distributed. We don't have the list, and we don't have the numbers. It could have been 15 people, 20 people. They would have spent the money to publish it just for this very narrow circle. But the idea was that they probably wanted to acquaint the people of the inner party with the book that the arch enemy wrote. Because at about even 10 years before, the only mentioning of Orwell's name, even in the context where the author would say this reactionary, imperialist writer, George Orwell, that would bring a huge trouble, bring the author into trouble. So publishing this for this limited number of people, and the researcher who found it knows the number of the circular where it said, and it is repeated the same number. The name is not repeated, but it says special edition number 15328, something like this. So this just shows how scared the Soviet authorities were of his books, because they could have published them and said, well, that's a reactionary writer, but of course they never would. They never would.